You're joining me for another interview from NOW's Conference 2012, and right now I'm actually joined by my husband Nick, who is a speaker here and also co-founder of Property Tribes, along with myself. And Nick, we're big fans of the NOW's Conference, aren't we?
Yep.
And it was really inspired by attending last year.
Yeah, very much so. I think what I got out of it last year, as indeed I am this year as well, is the quality of the keynotes, the quality of the speakers. I think it's important for anyone who's involved with the PRS at any level, and that's just from being a landlord through to working within the industry, listens to some of these guys, because we've got people from a political level, we've got industry leaders, and they've got the stats and the figures that really will paint a different, a more conclusive picture of where the PRS is currently.
Because of course we've got Lord Best here today, and as you said, other people from government and really just key influencers within the industry.
Very much so. And I was just listening to one of the chaps from Rick's this morning, and the stats and figures he was giving us really does give a very compelling vision and overview of where the sort of the housing market generically is within the UK, and of course how that affects landlords.
Of course. Now the theme of this year's event is empowering the PRS to be bigger, faster, smarter, safer, and that's really all about when there's lack of regulation for the lettings industry to actually step up the plate and self-regulate by raising their own standards, and that's what this event is all about, isn't it?
Yeah, I think very much so. I think somebody's got to do something, and I don't think it should be the government doing it, because I think if the government do it, it'll take far too long, it'll cost far too much money, and I think it'll be controlled by people that don't really fully understand the nature of the beast.
Of it.
Quite. As we know, as we've seen from just travelling Property Tribes, of being involved in landlordism ourselves over the years, it's best if it's controlled within. I mean, as long as there are strict control patterns adhered to, sensible ones, then I think it should be done from within. Yeah,
it's actually healthier that way.
Absolutely.
In a lot of ways, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now you're speaking here today on your favourite topic of the social web.
The web, yeah.
What is the key message that you want to get across?
I think the key message I want to get across this afternoon is an understanding that the web isn't necessarily about computers. It's certainly not about what you want to say. It's about the person or the human being that is trying to find your stuff. Pardon me. Or even indeed using the web at whatever level and computers at whatever level to find your stuff. And it's how they're interacting with the machine. Because of course, the bottom line is that part of being a professional is delivering your product to the person that wants it.
In the format that they want it.
Absolutely, in the format that they want it. So, for example, you could say, tenants use the machine, shall we say, completely differently to landlords. So there's no point in trying to sort of put the same stuff out, expecting both those two different parties to use the same machine or appreciate the same documentation, because of course they won't. So what I'm going to be talking about is a healthy understanding of how human beings are interacting with the machine. Of course, then if you reverse engineer that, it tells you what to do.
And of course, I'm sure you would say that there's a huge opportunity for lettings agents who really understand the social web and embrace it and have, key strategies in place to reach out to these different either tenants or landlords in a very compelling and engaging way. There's got to be opportunity there for those that do.
I think there's massive opportunity. I mean, really, there is. I think on the first instance, there's massive opportunity because it's a new space to be in, and there's no one singularity occupying that space, and being a majority. But also, being a letting agent or anything to do with lettings is not a national thing. It's a parochial thing. It's they're very small niches. A tenant doesn't live everywhere. They live in this place. They live in a house, in a street. So it gets down to grassroots levels, and I think a healthy understanding. And my point is a healthy understanding of how to bring that parochial view that a tenant would have into what you can achieve on the web is important, and it is a space that can be filled, and it's not that hard to do, really.
Well, thank you very much for talking to us, Nick.
Pleasure.
And enjoyed the NOW's Conference 2012.
Thank you very much. Thank you.